everybody, Chad here. In this video, we're going to compare law of vibration versus law of attraction. What is the main difference? We're not going to be long-winded here. We're going to get sweet and to the point, keep it simple and cut it at that. You know what I mean? So before we start here, I'm going to post a video here because I did do a training, more of a PowerPoint presentation. And you can kind of see me, I'm going through the presentation, but it's visual, kind of visual aids explaining the law of attraction, law of vibration, how to attract what you want, but most importantly, like, why don't you attract what you want? But if you're into visual aids, looking at visuals, rather than just sitting here looking at my beautiful face, check out that video. So I will post it here. Other than that, let's get rocking and rolling, and let's discuss law of vibration versus law of attraction. What is the main difference here? Because lots of times we get caught up into this terminology wars that I wanna call it law of vibration, law of attraction. What is it? I mean, in my opinion, when you really talk about attraction, manifesting, laws of manifesting, it's really the same thing. Okay, but let me tell you the difference here, and we'll chat about it for a few minutes. Law of vibration, to keep it very simple, is you attract on the level of your vibration. Now, what do I mean by your vibration? Okay, your vibration is your emotional state. Okay, now the main emotional states, for example, let's say you're happy. Okay, when you're in a happy state, you attract at that level of happiness. Okay, you ever had like a day or a week, you're super happy, you're super outgoing, everything seems to be working for you, and I mean, coming your way because you're in that emotional state of being happy. So you attract on that state. Now, on the opposite of, let's say if you're sad, you're depressed, you're not feeling very well, well, you attract on that level. Okay, we've all attracted on these levels of these two main emotions. And yes, by the way, I know there's other emotions. but anyway, when you're sad and depressed, what happens? You're depressed all day long. You attract at that level. You want to watch sad movies and listen to sad music, and that just ups that state of sadness, but you attract at that level. So to keep it simple, law of vibration is your vibrational state or your emotional state, you attract on that level. Now, what is law of attraction? Now, really, law of attraction is a secondary law. Law of vibration is the first law. Law of attraction is the second law under law of vibration. So they both connect. Now, law of attraction basically just states that your level of thought. Okay, you attract on the level of your thought. If you think positive or negative, you attract both into your life. If you have positive thoughts, you attract that. If you have negative thoughts, you attract that. The longer you stay in these states, more that's going to basically attract to you. Make sense? So basically what's happening is law of vibration, you're attracting on an emotional state, your vibration you're in. Example, if you're happy, you attract on that state, versus you're sad, you're depressed, you attract on that level. If you're, you know what I mean? If you're sad and you're depressed, you're really not going to attract that $100,000 salary a year income being in that state. Makes sense? So that's what I mean. You're only going to attract at that level of vibration that you're really in, versus being in a higher state, meaning you're happy, you're glad, everything's going your way. So, and we've all experienced that sometime in our lives, or maybe for a few days or whatever, we're just super happy and excited. Everything's seems to be going our way. Maybe we're planning a vacation and we're so excited to go and everything seems to be going our way. You know what I mean? Because you're in that state, you're in that level of vibration. Okay, and all law of attraction is the same thing, but it's just the level of our thought at this point. That's why they always tell you, think, okay, you can think positive, negative, both are non-biased, both are attracted to you. Okay, now it's about the emotional state that you're in. Make sense? Are you going to allow your negative thought Okay, maybe I have a negative thought creep in. Am I going to allow that negative thought to creep in my mind and creep in and start changing my emotion? Okay, once I start letting it change my emotional state, change my vibration, like the law of vibration, that's when things start to manifest to me in that state. Okay, we all have negative thoughts. We all do. Okay, it's kind of what we do with it. I mean, do we stay in that pattern? Do we just constantly keep on thinking negative, negative, negative? Next thing you know, okay, we've all done this as well. You know, we start thinking something that irritated us, and if we stay in that state too long, and we start thinking about it too long, what happens? It starts changing our vibration. It starts changing our state. We start getting emotional about it. What I mean by emotion, I could be happy. I think of maybe I trying to think of something. Maybe I see an old friend that screwed me. Okay, screwed me over. I run into him. I'm happy that day I run into him, but that brings up that past, and that brings up like a negative circumstance between him and me, and I start thinking, oh, no, he screwed me before, and I kind of replay that in my mind, and I reflect on it, and besides just tossing it out, besides just like catching myself and moving on, okay, I don't. I let it fester in my mind, and I start thinking, thinking, thinking. Next thing I know, I'm thinking negative, negative about the situation. I'm letting that bitterness come up to me again. I'm letting that anger come up to me again. So I'm getting angry and bitter out of a past situation. Okay, now that's what's happening. I'm changing my state. I went from happy to angry and bitter. If I stay in that anger and bitterness too long, I attract at that level. That's law of vibration. Okay, but it all started from law of attraction, meaning I had that thought. Okay, I stayed in that thought process, and I let it change my state, which is law of vibration. Okay, that's how them two basically kind of connect together. Okay, but to keep it simple, when we really dive down into this, is that, in my opinion, besides being super technical, they both kind of mean the same thing. Law of vibration, law of attraction. Yes, we give terminology to it, we give a definition to it, but don't let it kind of get you off course. And this is what sometimes happens is we get so, what I want to say, we get so caught up into being politically correct. Okay, no, Chad, you explained this wrong. The law of vibration is this. No, Chad, the law of vibration is not like the law of attraction. You know what I mean? You get caught up in this debating wars, but while you're caught up debating this stuff, you're not even applying it to your life. So you're missing out. That's what I mean. Okay. I'll give you one more example before we go here. And, I used to be, back in the day, I used to be a professional athlete. I trained professionally and competed professionally in martial arts. And during that time, I was really into physical fitness, really into health, basically came with the territory. So one of the things I caught on over the years is that, when we talk about health and disease and overtraining injuries, okay, we got several names for overtraining injuries. And overtraining injuries, like if you're an athlete, you know what I'm talking about. An overtraining injury is like tendonitis, shin splints, stuff like that. Okay. But overtraining injury, all it means is that your joints, okay, maybe your elbow, maybe you lift weights, but you're not going to lift weights every day, but maybe you're not used to it. You're not taking enough rest. You're not taking enough breaks, enough days off to let your body recuperate. Okay. So you start getting an overtraining injury. So an overtraining injury is like your joints start to kind of ache. Okay. It can happen in your fingers. Your joints in your fingers can ache. Okay. Your wrist can ache if you use it a lot. You know what I mean? Maybe you have a job where you're constantly, you work in a factory, you're constantly moving, and your joints will ache. Or if you're a runner, sometimes your knees or your shins will ache. That's the onset of overtraining injuries, meaning that you're not taking enough rest. You're not taking enough days off so your body can recuperate. Okay, that's a basic overtraining injury. Now we go into all the different definitions and terms. Okay, most of the time we call it tendonitis, or any type of itis injury is considered an overtraining injury. So you have tendonitis in your elbow. Okay, you have tendonitis in your wrist. You got tendonitis in your knees. Make sense? It's the same thing as a overtraining injury. Okay, you get it from not taking enough rest. Okay, now if you're a runner, you're really familiar with shin splints. Well, what is shin splints? Shin splints is tendonitis in your ankles. It's an overtraining injury, but we call it shin splints. Okay, it means the same thing. It does the same thing. Okay, but we can sit here and debate all day long on it, all these different terms, but it means the same thing. So this is what I'm saying about don't get too caught up into what's law of vibration, what's law of attraction. Okay, they both do the same thing. Okay, we give it different terms just to call it something different. It does something different, but in reality, it does the same thing. When you go into all the practices of law of vibration, how to manifest things into your life, all the rules apply. When you say law of attraction, when I want to attract things into my life, laws of manifesting, manifest things into my life, everything applies. Everything connects. Okay, it's not just one definition over another. So don't get too caught up into and debate over this stuff. It's more practical of you bringing it into your life. Make sense? Is that simple? Hopefully I explained that well. I just want to keep this short, sweet, to the point, and I will see you in the next video.